He's uncomfortable. Okay.
Hey, Justin.
You don't take it.
It's Justin.
Hey, Justin. Oh, hi. Everybody having a good morning?
Yeah. How was your morning?
Right?
Really casual first date.
Was that the first question?
What do you do?
My first question actually is, what's the first thing you bought with your first Disney paycheck?
I have an answer for this. I was talking to my buddy when I was in like final callbacks for Descendants, and I was like, I've always wanted to learn the slide trombone. And they were like, if you get that Disney movie, you get that trombone. And I learned from a local musician, she's like, yeah, if you want to get started, there's something called a P-bone. It's like a plastic slide trombone, significantly cheaper than a brass one, but like, it sounds the same. And first paycheck, I went and got it and like posted online, so it's on like my social media. And I told him, I was like, you see the photo, it's going down. Stuff like outside my trailer with the trombone. I'm terrible at it, by the way.
Do they make trombones that don't slide? Do they make non-slide trombones?
It's funny you say that. I was just looking at this information like 48 hours ago, and it just said trombone, and I sat with that for like 90 seconds. I was like, is there something else? And I just want to be like Riker from Star Trek Next Gen. Yeah. That's my story.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you go. Thank you.
When I first worked for Disney, I first did a movie called Pixel Perfect. We shot in Salt Lake City. I was talking about this yesterday a little bit. And then
Hold for applause.
Okay, great. And then thank you. And then went to Los Angeles to start shooting Bill of the Future, and I had to get to Los Angeles, and when I got to Los Angeles, I was gonna have to drive around, and I didn't have a car, so I bought a Mazda in Salt Lake City, and this was in 2003, and I still have it. That is still my car.
No.
And I actually learned recently that after 20 years, you can get a historic plate. And so I think I'm gonna get a historic plate for my terrible old Mazda that
How many
barely
miles
runs.
does it have?
When you drive around Los Angeles, for those of you who haven't been, you sit in traffic all day long, you don't actually go very far. So I think it's like 150,000 miles, but it's been used. It's been cross country like 6 times.
In a way, that maybe is a time machine.
That's right.
I should warn you that when you're done with that, Mr. Desert's gonna want that car. I did the tour this morning. He's like, I want that. Yeah.
Are you rated? Come on. What a bike. I don't know. I really don't have a great
A motorcycle or a bicycle?
Like a bike cycle.
A bike cycle?
Like a mountain bike or like a banana?
No banana. Yeah.
No banana.
No sliding trombone. So many jokes I wanted to make when you were doing trombone.
I was gonna make a joke about a P-bone, but
You can hit my comments and roast me live.
all right, cool.
Yeah, practical, a new guitar, a much better microphone, just stuff to work on music with.
Upgrade.
I remember being really excited about being able to buy a TiVo. Big jack, so I could record shows without commercials, and then watch everything streaming. Yeah, I don't have that TiVo anymore, but somewhere it's got like 10 episodes of shows that I was on it. It was my first demo reel, my
Do you remember
TiVo.
the first
I had to
ever
like bring
TiVo?
it to an agent's office and be like, can I plug this in and show you my stuff?
Do you remember the person you ever T-voed?
Oh my God, it was probably an episode of like Smallville or something like that. Yeah.
It's an episode of your own show.
Oh, absolutely, that's why I got it, yeah.
That is a very tough question. I have no clue what I bought with my paycheck from Brink. I probably bought something to fix my action skates, which were more like Brinks, because I was constantly breaking them and having to get new bearings and having to get new wheels and strap them up, because I was not a sponsored skater. So yeah, that's Val's real life. He's more like Brink than you would know. Brink may be more like Val than you would know.
We know now.
So, for your first big break, what was the audition process like for each one of your roles?
Nothing. When I first auditioned for Phil of the Future, it was to be the caveman, and I remember going into a little waiting room before going into audition, and there was a like 7-foot tall dude and a like 300-pound woman and a really old guy. It was like one of everything. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I have any chance. But I lucked out that Phil was small enough.
How dare you?
That I think the kids would have been very scared, and were with the first pilot they did for Phil of the Future. They cast a big tall guy, and I think it was a little scary for kids to see such a big monstrous man be his best friend. And so I think they decided that the little guy made Phil look like more of a hero, and I definitely benefited from that.
I'll take all the help I can get.
I mean, we all have a million audition stories. One that I always remember is when I did the show Freaks and Geeks. You're waiting in the waiting room with all your competition, and guys sometimes play mind games with each other, you know, whether they know they're doing it or not. And the guy that went in right before me, when he came out, I swear to God, he comes out of the door and he goes, nailed it. And then he looks at me and goes, go get him, Tiger. And I started dying laughing. And then they bring me in, and Judd Apatow and the other producers in there, and they're like, what's so funny? And I go, this motherfucker said he just nailed it. And they started like, he didn't nail it. And then I got it. So that's the only one I remember doing. Yeah. Sam's like, that was me, bro.
For Descendants, I had one line that I had to do over the course of the entire audition process, like 8 to 10 different ways, which feels like insanity. You know, when people joke about actors where they're like, you know, I would like some pizza, I want some pizza. It's like, you know, like, don't get out of your head about it. When I auditioned, it was under a code name, and, you know.
You were under a code name?
Yeah.
Can we ask why?
No, the movie was under a code name, and you know, I like threw it out a bunch of times, and I got this lovely call from the casting director. But she was like, "Listen, I'm never gonna tell another actor this as long as I live, but like I need you to be big and splashy." She's like, "You don't know this yet, but it's a musical, and like your line is right in the middle of like a big song, so like I need you to like kick it up a notch." So like, for anybody studying acting, where like usually when you start in theater and like you get into theater and everything's big for the back of the audience, and then you get into TV film, they're like do nothing, and like my first big break, they're like be in front of the camera and be big for the back of the audience. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'll do my best. My girlfriend's in the audience. She helped me tape all those tapes, I always decide. I never know if I want to like out myself with this part of the story. But I had a limited amount of time to film the dance portion, and I like taught myself the tutorial on YouTube from the previous films. And I had a limited time because I was living with my friend, and the only space I could dance in to film was my garage. And like when he comes home, he's gonna pull the car in the garage, and there's no more dance space, and I'm like running out of daylight. And it was like I had worked a long day, you know, and so I was getting tired, so I turned down the speed of the dance a little bit, and I like danced a little bit in slow motion, and I sped it up in post, and by God, they cast me for it. I can dance way better now. I mean, the number of times in my life I've had a job where I got better at something by having the job and then like learning on the go. I'm all the better for it now from Ashley Wallen, the choreographer. He worked on like Greatest Showman and a bunch of other stuff, and they really got us up to speed in like a month. It was awesome.
I didn't know we were allowed to cheat.
System's not made for us, bud. Yeah, find the angles, you know what I mean?
Did any of you find it hard, like balancing school and acting, especially for those when you started very young?
Well, so on the sets we have our own teacher. With me, I was homeschooled, so it was super weird for me because when I wasn't acting, I did my schoolwork by myself. And then when I was on the set, I had just me and a teacher that micromanaged everything that I did. during Grace Under Fire, she literally confronted me about it and was like, what am I even doing here then? But she was just playing Minecraft the whole time and like going crazy because I never wanted any help or had any questions. She did help me with, she like forced her way into helping me with one essay that I did. And I got a C-. And then they had me redo it, and I redid it on my own, and then I got an A. So, yeah, good times.
Good job on the A.
Thank you.
You worked hard for that.
How did being a Disney star impact your personal life growing up?
I mean, I think everybody can attest that it like kind of happens overnight. I think, for me, I think probably everybody, if they all went in the same boat, like 1 minute I was, you know, just me, and then like the show premiered, and then the next day I went to the mall and it was like, I was telling people it was like the Backstreet Boy shit or something. I was like, whoa, what is going on? And it was just overnight, and then it just didn't, like 20 years later, we're still talking about it, which is absolutely insane and cool at the same time, because I think we can all also attest that when you start off acting, if you could do a project that stands the test of time that people talk about for 20, 30, 40 years, like that's like a success, you know? I mean, I was telling somebody yesterday, I was on True Detective season 2. At that time, it was one of the biggest shows in the world. And I go to the store and people would still walk up and want to talk about motocross. And I'm like, I want to be recognized for True Detective. Like motocross, damn, it's not going to go away. I mean, but I've embraced it. I love it. I'll say if I never maybe acted again, I might not have embraced it as much, but went on to have a nice career. So I love it. I embraced it, that I got that opportunity.
One of the things I didn't fully appreciate was the global reach and how, like, you know, I just started on sitcoms. I'd done a lot of commercials and things. Like, I worked, but to suddenly be on a show that kids all over the world were seeing and hearing, even if it wasn't my voice coming out of my mouth in certain countries, you know, like that kind of blew my mind when it would go traveling and people would still be like, you know, Mr. Hackett or whatever. Like, they would know it from the fact that it was just proliferating.
Somebody yesterday here with their, I'm not sure if I can see it here, they told me to stop talking because I had the wrong voice because they were used to me speaking in Spanish. You have the wrong voice. Yeah. Someone stop talking.
I mean, I'm gonna just like geek for 10 seconds. I'm on the couch on the stage with people that I watched and idolized and really enjoyed and like helped shape what I want to do and who I want to be and what I find funny, and that was not the case 2 years ago. So that's pretty cool. And then yeah, I made the joke to them already. They were like, "And you," and I was like, "Okay, all right." And then otherwise, like I've been telling, like this is my first chance, my first con to meet the fans and find out like the true reach, kind of like he was talking about, of what these stories mean. Like Disney's got a real special way of cracking a formula on what types of emotional connections we love to make and love to deliver to children and teens, and how to deliver it in a palatable way that's funny and full of love and opens a lot of doors. It shows people their identities, and you know, you just kind of get invited with this golden ticket to step on board the boat to be a part of that bigger mission. It's pretty dope.
That being said, I did meet some people who worked for Disney Cruise Lines yesterday, and I don't think any of us have actually had the invitation to get on that boat. So we're probably all down. Actually.
Just in case they were.
Just in case they're still here. Or
I've done a couple of those. They're pretty fun.
Really? What did you do on the boat?
I was a guest performer in the theater for a couple of nights.
Oh, wow.
I was doing a cabaret, greatest hits kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, they do a nice job.
You gotta brush up on those trombone skills.
Yeah, I know someone in the audience who's one of the youngest engineers for the Disney Cruise Lines right now. Hopefully, I'll see what they.
Maybe
I'll see if they know anybody. I'll ask you.
A A man band? Anybody interested?
A lot of talent on the stage. Yeah, just a couple of mics, all you need. Everybody hold on, Justin's doing business.
Some audience questions? Oh.
All right, so my question for every single one of you is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
I don't take things personally, Shield. Pure love and consciousness. Simple answer, flight. I love to travel. I love to see the world. I'll steal that one.
I was going to say flight too. My superpower that I have right now that I'm happy to keep is I can nap anywhere. I can just kind of fall asleep at any time, and I'm gonna stick with that one.
Night, bud. World peace. No, I was also going to say flight. I've been so fascinated by teleportation, and I feel mixed about that because I love, big teleportation fan, couple of. I love driving and operating vehicles like boats and planes and stuff. So like if I teleported, it would, I don't know, probably I would no longer need to do that. But I don't know, that sounds pretty dope.
Gotta get you in that flight simulator.
I'm 100% going to be in that flight simulator today. Thank you very much.
I didn't know there was a flight simulator.
You want to come?
Yes, I do.
We're going to fly nowhere fast.
I was just going to say my superpower would obviously be flying. And then I would also, if I had the ability, I would give that to Eric Von Detten. And then I'd race him and I'd whoop his butt. Once again. Unless he cheats.
I hope I'd say this even if I wasn't associated with Phil in the future, but time travel. I mean, come on. How many of us wish we could have a mulligan in life and like go back and fix something and do something differently? No real interest in going to the future, but there's certainly plenty of moments I'd love to revisit in the past.
Yeah, I 100% agree. If I can make time stand still, or if I could go back, because sometimes when it's so good, it's hard to embrace it, and then it's over, and then it's just a memory. And so, yeah, maybe you can change some things, but I think everything you do gets you to where you are. But I just would like to bask in some of those moments again, because they were great. And when they're happening, they happen. Things are coming at you so fast that it's hard to enjoy them until it's over.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Hey, love the shirt.
Oh, thank you. I know I don't know this week, but come on, sing it. Okay, so my question is, how do you think the Disney Channel has changed from now until like the 2000s when you guys were there?
I haven't seen the Disney Channel for 20 years, so I don't know.
I can tell you, we were talking about this yesterday, actually with some people who came to Decade Days, about them actually offloading Disney Channel. And that's striking a nerve with a lot of people because now we've got Disney Plus, and they basically have moved Disney Channel to that. But I think the reason why people love the old school movies is just because there was such a strong good guy hero character, very strong villain, all bad, really like no redeeming qualities within them whatsoever. And you just, everyone wanted to root for the good guy, and the good guy always would win in the end. And it was an old school way of shooting because there was no CGI. So there's definitely a big difference between the amazing stuff that they can make now, and then comparing that with some of the things that we were in that were shot with very low budget, yet they turned out really great.
it is nice for fans of a show, remembering a show, to be able to go and binge it now, though. That, you know, it was great to have you have to wait a week for the next episode, but I have a lot of nieces and nephews who they love obsessing about one show and then watching all of it as much as they can, going back and watching it again. And so you can do that thing.
Hello, thank you all for being here. My name is Giovanna, and my question is mostly for the Phil of the Future cast, but anyone can answer. Phil of the Future had a lot of cool tech and gadgets. If one of the items or things that they did on Phil of the Future could come real today, what would you choose? I'd probably choose the spray food because I hate cooking, but I'd be very curious what you guys would say.
So I had an issue with this yesterday because somebody else said that they would choose the spray food. And you're basically saying that instead of a jet ski in the sky, you want cheese whiz. And you can buy food. Like you don't, I like cooking, you don't have to cook. Why does it need to be spray food? Like, we have gadgets that could literally do anything. And you want spray food. So I don't get it.
I did like the episodes where you use the lizard to like just like switch bodies or you know, zap yourself into somebody else.
Would everybody choose the spray food? Is that like across the board? Sky, yeah, we have another spray
Yeah,
food.
we basically have Skyaks now too. I mean, there's these like
No, we don't.
There are these sort of one-person drones. They're like single seaters that can fly around and stop on a dime.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so
We're there.
we're kind of already there. And I was talking yesterday about the lizard, and like, you know, in 2004, 2005, it was this magical thing that only Phil had in his hand, and like now every kid has a smartphone that does almost everything the wizard did. Like,
It is crazy to think about when we made this show in 2003, 4, and 5. This was before iPhones. This was before Instagram or TikTok, really any social media. I'm not really answering the question, but it was a very different time where we didn't have interaction with fans in the same way because there was all kind of neat tweets like this. It was just it was pre-future.
all of that said, I'm Team Kids Quiz.
Okay.
Well, if I may respond, you
Yes,
bring up
please.
a great,
Yeah, sorry.
you bring
You're
up a
welcome
great
to defend your point.
You bring up a great point actually, so I'm going to change my answer to the device that changes you to anyone because I feel like that could be pretty useful, right?
Girl, if you want cheese whiz, I do not
Why
want to
not
take that
both?
away from you. Yeah,
Thank you
you
so
can have it
much.
all. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Meredith, and my question is for Drew.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Would you like to have played Troy Bolton, or did you like just singing for him?
Oh, hey, yeah, of course. I did audition for it, so Kenny knew me as an actor from that as well. But I think I was a good 5 or 6 years older than the next oldest person in the cast, so I think when they, in addition to Zach being an amazing actor and he was definitely the right person for the part, in addition to that, like, we didn't look right as a group, so yeah, I mean, it would have been life-changing in a different way, but honestly, like, being the voice, but also not being on camera sort of has let me live this, like, semi-private life where, like, people that know that I'm involved appreciate it, but I'm not stopped on the street in restaurants all the time. Like, I feel like I still have I can have a normal life to an extent, which
You're
is
like
a
Hannah
real blessing.
Montana.
Yeah, it's like no, really, seriously. You know, fame is not the end all of everything, and you know, if you can make a life and a career out of performing, acting, singing, dancing, whatever it is that like brings you joy, and like that can sustain you and your family, like that's better than any kind of fame that I can imagine. So I feel like a success anyway. But yeah, it would have been fun.
Also, I loved your song "Dance with Me in the Tweet."
Thank you. Come to the concert tonight. Maybe I'll sing it for you.
And the answer for superpower should be teleportation. That's faster than flying.
But it's sometimes it's about the journey.
Wait a minute, were you sitting over there a second ago? And over there?
So you're saying it was a test, and I got it right? Good.
Okay, Drew, you kind of touched on this with like, don't take stuff personally, Shield. So, as a child actor, how did you deal with rejection when you didn't get like a certain role? Because I'm sure at that point in time in your life, pretty heartbreaking. How did that process evolve of handling rejection as you got older?
We're going down the line. There's still times when you want something really bad and it doesn't go your way, that it's not easy. Like you still gotta work through those feelings. You're not just one day you wake up immune as an actor, like nothing phases me. Period. But what was the question? I mean, when I was 11, I got my first professional job. I was in Showboat, the Broadway show, as one of the kids in the ensemble, and I did it for about 10 months, and it was my introduction to acting, and I loved it. And then one day they called me into the production manager's office and told me I was fired because I had grown too tall. Because my part was literally to sit on some shoulders of some guy and like watch the boat come in, and I was taller than the guy. So they're like, dude, but I was 11, so like it was soul crushing. And it was my introduction to like how this business can be. Like the highs are high, the lows are low. So how you deal with it, I don't know. Everybody deals differently. I go for a long run. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. I mean, like I no longer act, and that is the part that I don't miss at all. But I remember growing up, you would just kind of get used to it. I mean, I would leave the audition room and completely forget everything that I had done, completely forgotten my lines, and that was just kind of a muscle memory thing that you, especially those that were on TV shows, you were learning so much dialogue all the time that. My long-term memory now is really good. My short-term memory, absolute trash. My wife hates it. But yeah, that's what I learned.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think that, I do think one of the hardest things about acting is that you're constantly job interviewing. If you're an active actor auditioning a lot, the vast majority of what you audition for, you do not get. And you do have to train yourself to kind of release that project immediately because it is a lot of rejection, and that's a lot to put on a little kid. But it's part of the training is kind of to be looking forward, do your best, give everything, train up, and then also learn to let go. But yeah, it's kind of a very thing.
I wasn't a child star, but I got some things to say. Yeah, I have a phrase that I like to cling to with the concept of this rejection thing, which is my turn, their turn. I have some people where like when I get close to something and I don't book, they get mad for me and they think that I should be more upset. And I'm like, it's not my turn. Like the thing, like if my time in the industry has taught me anything, is that it is a resilience game about the whole like, you're gonna get more rejections than bookings. And you will get a turn if you stick around. Whatever your idea of like what you need to be or have to be good enough for the part, like there's gonna come a part that you're the person for, whether it's the right time and place or you are the right person for it, and like that will happen. And when someone else gets it, it's their turn. Yay, Drew, I actually have a kind of a similar story. When I was 20, I got all the way to final callbacks for Little Miss Sunshine the musical at second stage. And I was like brand new to the city, very green to trying to do anything professionally. And I didn't get it because I was taller than Stephanie J. Block playing her mom. And I was supposed to be the teenage son, and it's just a visual storytelling thing. Like my dream right now is to be a cursed child, and I'm kind of stuck in this weird place where I'm too tall to play the children and I look too young to play the parents. And that's just like, you have to zoom out and realize that there's so many more moving pieces to this thing. And if it's your turn, you'll get it. But I think also having something else in your life that has nothing to do with this, like cooking or something else, keeps your brain on straight. This might be a little, I really enjoyed Matt McConaughey's book, and he has a story where he talks about like, green lights, a couple people. He has a story where he's in LA and he's like, I need the next thing. And this guy's like, what you need to do is get out of here and come back when you want it and you don't need it. And that's really stuck with. I feel like my personal trajectory with this work has changed since clicking into that reality.
I agree 100% with that. The way I always see it, Brink I would have been a fan of if I wasn't in the movie. I would have loved the movie. Any person on this stage could have played Val, and it would have been amazing. It would have been completely different because we make whatever role we're playing our own, but it would have been phenomenal. And so a lot of it is luck of the draw, a lot of it is how you match up with other people. You're going to get a small portion of the jobs you audition for. And just to get one is an incredible, amazing thing. And if you love to act, which I think everybody up here does, when you start off as a child, it's extremely rare. There are some occasions, but most of us don't get into this for money. We don't get into it for fame. We get into it because we love the art of acting. And so if we can hold on to that with all the fame and the fortune that comes with it, then the audition process can be even more exciting sometimes than doing a movie, because that's where we get to create the character. That's where we get to do something that's brand new and fresh. And so that's something that I always needed to hold on to and remind myself of. And if you go in there and you're proud of the character that you've created, then you can enjoy it, even if you don't get the part. And then it's exciting to see who did get it, what they brought to the table too.
I started doing all of this as a college graduate, a young adult, so I didn't have to deal with the very awkward, emotions and pressures maybe some families end up putting on their hopeful child star. It really was just my own kind of ambition and love of doing comedy and wanting to reach as big an audience as possible. What I would like to fishtail on about my turn, their turn, and some perspective on like how many opportunities hopefully there will be for everyone to put themselves out there for the project that is perfect for them, the role that's perfect for them, and all the planets line up and all the other pieces that you can't control happen to fall in your favor. If you don't, as long as you're always enthusiastic about putting yourself out there and trying to do the best job you can, the right thing will happen enough times to add up to a life and a career hopefully that you can enjoy. I know that the audition I had for ER, it's not a Disney thing or a kid thing, the audition I had for ER that turned into like 2 seasons of me as a very mean surgeon, there's no way I would have done a good job on that or booked that job if I hadn't been coming from like 2 other auditions that morning that I thought were going to be a bigger deal. We're supposed to just do one episode as a mean surgeon. But I would put so much pressure on myself about probably a Disney thing or something that was like in the morning. And I was focused on the pilot audition, whatever. When I went to this other thing, I didn't think it was going to be anything. And I just did my thing. And I know my character was more interesting and pure and my performance was better because I didn't put all that pressure on myself. So yeah, big picture of like, I'm here, for the long haul, as long as that haul may be, we'll pay dividends.
This is so much gold, honestly. Like everything, that was great. My turn, their turn, I'm gonna steal that. And what you said about not caring because you were caring about something else, it opens you up so freely. I've always said that there was a lot of roles I got that maybe people were better than me, but it was a look thing, it was I knew the producer thing, it was a lot of different variables we were talking about. And then there's a lot of roles I think I should have gotten that I didn't get. And that's just the my turn, their turn, and timing. But I firmly believe that everything happens for a reason. It's hard to feel that in the moment, and the losses hurt, but you get used to them. And I think having other things in your life is really important, whether it's music or playing basketball or whatever it may be, you know, just things that take your mind off of waiting for the phone to ring, because that will feel like misery if you're just sitting here waiting for your agents to call. And so, you know, there's a game, everyone knows Price is Right, right? Like on TV. There's a game called Plinko. It's my favorite game, but I use this analogy about life, and I think life is like Plinko. When you drop the chip and it starts bouncing around through the pegs, and you can win $1 million, or you could go bankrupt, or somewhere in between. Well, people get so excited because it's going over to $1 million, then it's going over to bankrupt, then it's going to $5, and people are cheering. And I say life is that's the journey of life. You know, all these almost near misses, and then you got something, and then you didn't get something, and I'm gonna move to Vancouver, and then I'm gonna move to Albuquerque, and then you know. But when it finally lands, the game's over, and then that's the end of the game. So really, the journey of it, the hits and the misses and the scores, and you know, that's the fun of life. So when you can embrace that, take it on the chin when you don't get them, and then now let the highs get too high when you do get them, because it's all relative. We're not curing cancer here. We're just, you know, really trying to do what we love. But it's the journey. It's not about the destination.
Which is why flight is better than teleportation.
Cheese whiz.
Hi, my name is Courtney. I have an 11-year-old daughter who is very passionate about getting into acting. I know a lot of you started very young. What is some positive advice that you can give her starting out?
Parents need to be very, very hands-on. You know, I think that the young actresses and actors that I've come up with, the ones that had good parents and strong backbones and knew how to say no and protect their kids, those were the ones that stayed straight, and the ones that the parents either were pushing them or letting them go, those are the ones that got lost. And so yeah, I think parents are a really big important factor.
Piggybacking on that, Ramy's back there in the vest. He's the father of Liberty back there, and like I've met him over the past 48 hours, and like you want to pick somebody's brain about being an awesome show-up parent for a kid who's going through this kind of industry. He's a great person to talk to. My favorite kind of advice for this kind of question is going to sound super cheesy and hackneyed, but I mean it with all my heart. They need to be the most them they can be. I've told this story many times, but there was a night I was leaving Descendants and we were all in the van, and one of them in the van sang this crazy riff, very talented, and then one by one everyone else in the van did it. And I knew if it was me 2 years ago, I would have been like, everyone in this van is so talented, I don't belong here. But luckily, the place I was at in my life, I think what I realized in that moment was like, if you're gonna get into this kind of thing, like your talents and your looks are something very special that you use like tools, but they are not the thing. You know, the thing is like no one's gonna walk into the room with your laugh and your passion and your opinions. I mean, it's the overused statement because it's so true. It's like everyone else is taken. You know, so the more so, is it daughter, son? Daughter, the more so your daughter can just like, as she just lives through her life figuring this thing out, find out what she likes and what makes her spark and come to life, like that is gonna be the thing that serves her best whenever she walks into the room and tries this thing on.
Is there did you have brothers and sisters? Right. I mean, I think this is an advice for her, but for parents, like you guys are a family, and like that's absolutely first and foremost. Of course, you're going to have to make all kinds of sacrifices if she's going to try to really pursue this. But if you can hang on to, you know, she is one part of our family. She knows she's one part of this, and we are a family. Like, that'll help so much until she's an adult, and she'll thank you for it later.
I think also just you keeping an eye on gut checking her that that's what she really wants, you know. It is hard work, and yeah, and those auditions can be, if she loves it, then community theater is an amazing place to go do that thing. And putting on plays with her friends, or making a movie with her friends is yeah, that's you're already doing the thing. And now so many, we were talking about like Broad City or these shows where they're made of people who are making their own things, and so much is made that way now anyway. And so whether it's trying to get on a TV show or making something in the backyard, doing it for the love of it. But we wish her luck.
Hi, I'm Lexi. My question is for all 7 of you. So I was talking to Phil with Future last night about this. You guys have partners married with kids by any chance?
Sorry, what was the question?
Partners married with kids?
Trying to find out if she was a single. Unavailable.
Very sly.
Yeah, asking if anyone's single.
No, I'm taken.
I've got a 19-month-old daughter.
Congratulations.
She's very chatty and running all over the place right now.
I have a 5.5-year-old daughter who will be here later today because I told her this playland is so cool, she's got to come. So yeah.
5.5-year-old daughter too.
You do? Is she here?
July baby. She was here 2 days ago.
Ah, cool.
It was fun for her, yes.
Mine's August, so yeah, almost the same age.
I have a 7-month-old son.
And I am single.
Ladies.
Got married 6 months ago. No kids yet, but hopefully. My wife just ordered 9 pregnancy books the other day. So it's coming.
All right, guys, thank you so much for the great advice, the great conversation. Let's give them another round of applause, everybody.